get your facts straight.
Oh, and it's Highland.
And it's
Called
Highland.
it.
Well, very
Cool.
nice prediction from you.
Oh,
Very,
look at
very
this!
nice
Look at the
prediction.
civs. Disaster for the Peganator almost. It's a really, really hard counter civ, I would say. Saracens for John the Late against Franks for the Peganator. Now we know that obviously the Franks can do some different things, but Knights is their best play. But Saracens are able to counter those so hard with their brilliant camel units, obviously. But Saracens are also got so many different things they can do. So such a great variety of strategies, especially in the late game, which Highland tends to go to because it can be quite defensible potentially. So Peganator, I think, is going to have to keep this away from the late game.
Yes, but how can he go take it away from the late game, like castle pushing him? Really hard to castle push on this map with shallow where you can't build on.
Well, I think he needs to make sure that he doesn't get stuck on his side of the map is the most important thing. I think he needs a way of getting onto John the Late's half of the map before the Imperial Age, or at the latest by the early Imperial Age. Otherwise, the Saracens are going to cause a lot of problems for him.
Yeah, and securing the water would be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah,
to assure that he can reach John the Late size.
Because if John the Late wins the water and then just sort of spreads galleys and denies any kind of redocking from Peganator so that he can't sneak a transport across, it's going to be really, really tough. Of course, the like the Saracens do kind of counter the Franks hard with their kind of like knight units and stuff, but the Saracens are quite gold intensive to use all of their power civilizations, so to use all their power units, and there's only so much gold on a Highland map. We could, if the game goes on long enough, it could revert to a trash war, and where you've obviously got some differences between what each civilization can do and the strength of the trash and stuff, but it will also come down to the players' kind of macro and multitasking there, and it's potentially less of a sort of civ advantage at that point.
Well, I totally disagree on that part. If it's getting to a trash war, this Saracens player has for me a bigger even advantage because the Frank doesn't get the racer upgrade for their elite skirmisher, and they don't get bloodline for their scout, which only go to light cav and not missiles.
Their trash is much worse. That's what I was saying. Like there is a difference between the trash that the players can field, but I feel like Saracen trash is, it's not the same as Saracen camels destroying Frank knights, if you know what I mean. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's an advantage for the Saracens, absolutely, but it's not like a hard countering at that stage of the game, which would give Peganator kind of more of a chance, but still of a disadvantage to come back into the game.
I have to say, I've never seen a dock like this on island. It's a dock wall to protect his side of the map. The middle of the shallows. I love it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think I've ever seen someone literally build a dock on the shallow, but it is very clever. Besides the fact that you're not going to. It does potentially restrict your fishing, and that's exactly how it works out. But the deep fish on the right aren't too far away if you actually find them. But there's nothing to the left, so.
Actually, it's kind of interesting because Peganator doesn't really look very interested. Oh yes, he's going now to put his dock. But he was with 3 wheels on wood.
It's interesting that John the Late has got his scout onto the far side of the map as well. So he's walled his scout out, but he's going to be able to learn a lot about what the Peganator is doing, whereas because of that wall to come up on the middle part of the map, John the Late won't be revealing too much to Peganator's scout.
I was totally wrong. Peganator is not going to build a dock forward, he's just going for the deers and probably the 2 boars.
Yeah, later on he'll be able to send more villagers and just mill those boars. Well, lure them to the mill.
So it's looking for me that Peganator will just go straight fast castle and try maybe to boom behind, or I don't know, to be a bit aggressive, but he will totally not fight for the water, so John the Late could take a huge advantage if he notices it.
I guess what we could see is that if Peganator may also be looking at the civilizations and thinking like, I just want to sneak over. Like I don't even want to grush. I'm just going to go up to the feudal age and sneak over straight away with a sneaky dock on the edge of the map, like on the far left side or something. He might. At this point, he could still be thinking of that. He's actually just walled John the Late's scout into his forest and taken it out, which is quite nice.
That was a very, very, very nice move from his part. But it will not influence probably the rest of the game. But he was able to cut the scouting information for John the Late. So that's a very good advantage that you can have.
Peganator's seeing this dock here. He's
And John the Late
surprised as we are.
John the Late found that first deep fish, but the second one is still a bit further, so I'm not sure. Maybe you should go for the shorefish next to his dock. It might be a better suit than the very far.
That's not
deep
far
fish.
enough to justify going for the shorefish. Somebody check this out, and basically it has to be 14 tiles. The deep fish has to be 14 tiles before it starts becoming less efficient.
Yeah, for that first deep fish it might be, but for the second one it's definitely better to go for the
sorry, I understand.
shorefish.
Yeah, but he may even do another dock at some point. He's got a very nice mill over here as well, where he can use the shorefish to take deer. Sorry, he can use the mill to take shorefish and deer.
Actually, John the Late is going feudal age, and he is using his resources right. He might even be able to go for a fast castle, but I doubt it a little bit. His food supply seems a bit short.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure about his second dock. He knows he doesn't have some fishing ships, some fish in this area, and he's still putting the dock here.
Yeah. His problem is he can't see any fish on the river at all. So unless he sends a fishing ship to scout, because he did lose his scout, so he at this point in time, if he didn't use a fishing ship to scout the river, he didn't know where a better dock is. And sometimes you see Highland maps with basically no deep fish anyway. It kind of depends how much deep water there is, which can be quite variable.
And Peganator is on the way to Castle Age. It's important to notice how much food those deers and those two boars bring him more, because he has no fishing ship. He barely have he has no villager on berries. He has no farms, no one taking ships, and he is going to Castle Age.
That's really nice that he hasn't built any farms yet, because he's already going to have heavy player by the time he builds his first farm, because of Frank's getting those upgrades for free. So that's
what is he doing with his ville on the left side of the map? Is he trying to put a sneaky dock?
Yeah, I thought that was what he was going to do, but John the Late's onto him. Obviously, John the Late was wanting to go up quite quickly so that he could get those galleys out quickly. And yeah, he's going for the sneaky dock, but he's just seen that those galleys are in the area, so that's going to be thwarted, and he's deleted the dock. I think Peganator definitely wanted to go onto John the Late's side of the map and be aggressive, but I don't know what his plan to do that is now. Potentially...
maybe it was just to get one fire or two fire.
Yeah,
ships out. Get those fishing ships from John the Late.
Yeah, just to see if like he could achieve the little sneak. But if he can't, then it's not too much wasted. And what he's also seeing is that by doing that is that John the Late is going into galley production with at least kind of like reasonably heavily. He's just done about 4 or 5 at the moment. He's also stonewalling the middle because he's scared. But
John the Late is securing the water quite nicely. He should think about going up to Castle Age, and that's what he's doing now by putting the market and the blacksmith. Maybe Peganator could catch up in ville production with those 3 TCs. But he doesn't have any food right now. I'm not sure we'll be able to sustain production for all those TCs.
No, he's definitely going to have some of those idle for a little while. I don't know whether that was... Oh no, he's not going heavily onto stone like I thought. But that's the problem when you're relying so much on hunting for food. you need to make provisions for the moment when it runs out. Like you need to have farms up at that point. And there was just kind of that disconnect between the hunting economy running out and the farming economy beginning.
Yes, that's a point in the game that is a bit more hard to deal with, but anyway, he's putting down some more farms and he will soon going in a full boom mode, I think.
John the Late even doing a third dock in the same place, which, considering he's not fighting an enemy on the water, like how many galleys do you actually need? And he's not doing it in a place where he can do more fish. So
yeah, and actually he has no excuses this time, because with his scouting with the galleys, he exactly know where the fish are.
Yeah.
Like on the left side would be a nice place to put a dock.
There's 3 deep fish over there. So you hear that, John? No excuses. Big Z has spoken. He's going to hunt you down.
I'm looking for your mistakes. And now Peganator is going a bit on stone, so either to put a force DC or maybe a castle a bit later in the game.
Yeah, I think that, well, he's going to get housed actually now if he's not building some, but he is, that's okay. Seems like his gather point is set on the stone, so he's thinking about a castle sooner rather than later, and that's probably his best opportunity to force a crossing across the middle water, because obviously the galleys are going to be forced away from wherever that castle appears if he manages to build it close to the water.
Oh no, he's very confident because he didn't have walls middle shallow, and he obviously can't do it right now. And he's full booming, so
yeah. He's kept his scout moving though. Like it's been in the crossing or near the crossing a lot of the time. It was on the shore on the left for a while. He's got buildings on the left as well, which give him some line of sight. And even if he has a bit of a surprise attack on his base, he's got a very compact base, which is, he could probably just defend with TCs for a moment and throw up whatever buildings he needs to react. So that's probably why he's feeling a little bit confident, and also the fact that John the Late went on water, so he's not going to be able to do anything too damaging on the land until...
I don't like that idea of John the Late to go for war galley right now, because he totally secures the water with those galleys, and he could totally react in case of Peganator trying to come back on water.
Yeah.
Putting those resources into some eco upgrade would probably have been a little bit more beneficial.
He also did fletching as well when he put the blacksmith down, and that blacksmith came up late, so it wasn't like he did a really early blacksmith and just anticipated that he would need fletching to win the galley war. Like, he definitely chose to get that later on. Which
it's kind of some odd choices, but
yeah, you can definitely say that. I mean, we were taking issue with the second dock, but certainly the third dock and the war galley and fletching were all.
And if you look at the economy now, Peganator is actually going like full booming mode, and he already have 14 villager more than John the Late. If you count villager and fishing ships, it's 4 villagers more. When you only go for PCs and not for the water, normally you're not in front in terms of economy. And he's putting the castle in the shoreline.
Yeah.
John the Late hasn't noticed for now. So
just started to notice, or has he noticed?
No, he didn't notice. Oh, no, he noticed. But I'm not sure he will be able to.
No, I mean
I don't really know why he took those galleys out of the area of the castle. The castle was still far from going up, and maybe if he brought all his galleys, he might have been able.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying that the war galley and everything, and the fletching and everything was a strange choice, but potentially if he'd reacted very quickly there and brought all the galleys, they could have actually been in a great choice as it turned out, in terms of actually being able to deny that castle, but that hasn't happened. And Peganator's going to get back on the water and probably...
he's going to try at least. John the Late starting production of some more galleys, but he's losing some. Well, he's not losing some to the castle, but almost. What do you think about that decision to go for war galleys upgrade instead of fireship? Like, those number of galleys are quite intimidating, but they are not grouped together, so
Yeah,
fireship.
if you had like 2 fire ships within each dock and put them out all at once, then that would be sufficient.
Exactly. But no, he's 20 wheels ahead. 20 wheels ahead.
Yeah.
I actually like what Peganator is doing. He said, okay, I won't go into the water and I will just straight boom. And for now it's kind of working for him. Well, he still doesn't have the water back, but at least he has a little bit of an eco advantage, I would say.
Yeah, he's doing fire ships now. He's researched war galley for 2 galleys, but now he's doing fire ships.
That's kind of a waste of resources, because he also did the fletching upgrade. Now he's going to start losing docks.
Yeah. But he's going to the Imperial Age.
And look at that, John the Late is going for some demolition ships. Anticipating the fire ships? Or just a misclick?
Well, I guess we can perhaps look at if he's doing many more, but he's just done 1, so I think that probably was a mistake. Just knocking the wrong hotkey.
Well, with this one fire ship, Peganator was able to take 1 galley out. And now Peganator, I think, is trying to put a second castle on the shoreline somewhere else. He still doesn't have the stone, he still needs like 30 stones more.
So just built a stable and getting scale barding armor, so he is going to be going for the
Knights.
Frank Knight build.
But look at John the Late, he already has 1 monk out and 1 monastery, so...
Yeah, but that was for collecting relics, but it will prove useful, of course, if the knights do show up on that side of them.
For now, the knights are very, very far from being on that side.
Yeah, absolutely.
What we didn't say as well was that Peganator was going to the Imperial Age, like 2 minutes and a half before John the Late.
I mentioned it when he clicked up, but
oh,
yeah.
sorry.
No, that's fine. There's been lots to talk about, but it looks like Peganator's found a spot where if John the Late doesn't react quickly, he's going to be able to get that castle up because there's only 1. The Peganator started trade.
That's interesting.
Where is he building? A trade cog or a trade? Yeah, he's got a trade cog. He's got a trade cog, a transport ship, and a fire ship.
That's totally a misclick.
He's gonna lose.
And this castle is not going up. Yeah. Like, if Peganator still continue to put delay... Oh, Peganator is losing so many vills. That looks very good for John the Late. I don't think this castle will go up. It might, but... No, it won't.
And that's quite big because that's actually just put John the Late in the lead in villager numbers, which is a very kind of precarious situation for for Peganator, because it's going to get into that stage of the game where the Saracens just counter the Franks so hard because they're both
he lost so many vills trying to put that castle up that now even in Ville County is under John the Late. This is looking better and better for John the Late. So he's kind of doing the same thing as the game you were talking about.
Yeah, except in that game he didn't even take water. He basically did what Peganator did, but didn't even try to cross over until he was like fully Brune Britain's 150-200 population, whereas Nimino was kind of trying to force the issue because he was Turks. And
I have to say, I love the transport ship which is hiding under the castle of and Peganator is putting a trap out, and he will try to take those war galleys out with traps. I'm not sure about that. I would probably prefer him going like some bombard cannons.
Well, I think he's doing it to destroy the dock, but yeah, bombard cannons could potentially perform the same thing, but they'd have to get close to the shore, obviously.
And he's putting another transport ship. What he's doing?
Well,
there is no way those transport ships are not dying.
Yeah, I think he was making them inside his dock at a point when it still looked there was a possibility he might actually be able to get on the water.
And now he's doing chemistry now as well as John the Late, so he's probably going to go for those bombard cannons and maybe for those hand cannoneers.
Do you see this at the bottom of the map? The gold and the stone and the relic. Peganator's unaware of all of them, and that's a lot of resources to be missing out on. Galleon for John the Late.
You know what's funny? It's Peganator is not aware of it, but John the Late is aware of some.
Yeah, because he sent his scout around that way when he sent it over in the Dark Age. Peganator's doing a nice job of just making sure that there are no shenanigans taking place. So he's putting outposts everywhere on the right hand side. Unfortunately, the outposts coming up on the left are going to be quite forward, which means that they won't actually help him to find any of those resources.
I think John the Lake should go for those bombard navy. How was they called?
Cannon galleons.
Cannon galleon. I like bombard navy more.
Peganator's actually killed a fair amount of galleons with these trebs. It's quite funny. But I really want to see Peganator start taking the relics. He's got 4 relics on his side.
And now that castle is going down, like the trebs on the other side reach the castle probably just by 1 tile.
If it is indeed 1 tile, then that will be because of siege engineers.
Yeah, I think it is because before those trebs were open and they were not firing.
I wonder if John the Lake counted out the tiles if he's got the grid mod and then decided to get siege engineers. That would be quite funny.
That's a transport of few paladins. That could be actually nice to secure a bit the land, and then taking some builds and putting some other.
Yeah, because
John the Late is making some camels, but right now he needs to stop those builds to cross, and that's what he did. So those 3 paladins are going to be a nuisance, but not a very strong one.
And heavy.
And he's doing heavy camels right now. So.
Although this is the first time since the early feudal age that John the Lake doesn't have galleys covering the entire shoreline. On the left, there are no galleys there, and Peganator seems to kind of have thought about that because all of these galleys that were on the left side of the river have now kind of moved upriver a bit, and he's immediately going to go and try and sneak a dock on the left-hand side, and he's got another transport ship.
Yeah, but no, I'm not sure because John the Late have heavy camels. Well, he will have very soon, and the only thing. Oh, but that's quite a lot of paladins. He might still be able to hurt a little bit the economy of John the Late, but with 2 castles protecting kind of his economy, a lot of TCs, he could protect all of his villager. Time for him to get enough camels to defend.
Yeah, I'd really like to see Peganator sneaking villagers. Now he's got villagers right there, and it will be, if he can get a foothold in this black area on the left-hand side of John the Late's base, then that's going to be allow him to do stuff other than just transporting paladins 5 at a time. Like if he could set up like halberdiers and siege and stuff coming from that part of the map.
I still don't get why John the Late is not getting more of his ships on the left side of the map. But yeah.
I mean, Peganator's hardly disguising that all these paladins are going over there to be transported over. Like he's showing them.
he could have a nice strike in this gold, and that's what he's going to do. Oh, that's hurtful. And he's putting some stable now next to that gold.
Yeah.
So let's see, but those heavy camels plus 2 defense, they are still going to lose probably in 1v1, but against those very strong French paladin with armors.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough upgrades yet.
What I love about John the Late is that houses are making a wall, so he can't really go into his economy unless he goes by the castle. So.
But he does for now at least have 4 paladins killing all these villagers that are idle anyway. But I don't like what Peganator's done. John the Lake didn't see his villagers up until now. Like Peganator couldn't have known that for sure, but he could have at least kind of tried to make a play upon the idea that perhaps John the Late hadn't seen it. But then he's gone and built a stable by the shoreline and given it away. Like I'd have loved to have seen him use 1 paladin to explore the left side of the map and then try and go there with his villagers and make some.
Look at the resources of John the Late, and he's not making any heavy camels.
Yep, no heavy camels and no.
Like
I think nothing else really either.
He is not making any army on the land anymore. Oh, he's putting some heavy camels again. Yeah. So I still favor a little bit John the Late right now in this matchup.
Yeah. At
He
least
will put this castle, which will prevent any reinforcement to come, and
Yeah.
then he just need to make enough of those heavy camels to clean this little base.
But Peganator, as long as he doesn't lose his few villages, is going to get his own castle up. Of course, it will be vulnerable to being trebbed down if John the Late starts doing a treb straight away. But this is why I just think Peganator should have just gone a little bit further over to the left with his production, just to kind of...
And John the Late is wasting a lot of his camels.
Yeah. And
At least he should have tried to target the villager of Peganator.
This is going to be really close. Will those heavy camels intercept the final villager building the castle? It needs 300 hit points, but the heavy camels hitting it.
Look at this villager building barracks.
Yeah, that's quite funny. That castle's going to go down before it goes up. It reached like the last 200 hit points, but then went down.
Still, I would still prefer John the Late to win that game. Then we will have a final game.
Yep.
The decider.
Well, we will have a game anyway, but it will be nice for the game to actually decide the tournament.
And actually, Peganator is going for those halberdiers now.
Yeah, I think that's a long overdue upgrade.
The problem is he doesn't have anything to fight those castles which are protecting or any building. So right now he can just like hang around this little area, and John the Late will killing them slowly and slowly. He can progress in his base.
Yeah, that villager on the left is really important as well, because like John the Late will clear this out sooner or later unless Peganator is able to continue adding some more different types of production facilities over there.
Why is John the Late going for some archery range? You think he will want to take some hand cannoneers to take care of those halberdiers?
Potentially, or I mean, I was looking a while ago and he had thousands of gold, but now he doesn't quite have so much. But yeah, I would have thought
he's going for skirmisher. Like, I'm not sure about that choice. Few hand cannoneers would be way more efficient.
Yeah, because they would also do decent damage against the paladins. But I guess like Peganator is not going to be making paladins forever. He's got 800 gold and 1 relic. Does have the gold for the stone for almost 2 castles, but he's got to be careful where he puts them. With John the Late's got trebs and
yeah, but right now we're at that point in the game where the Saracen is so much stronger than the Frank.
Definitely. And just looking at how many relics Peganator sees, I've just heard him pick one up. He's got 1 garrison, but he still doesn't see the one in the bottom left. He does see the one on the right though, but he could have had 4 relics this whole game, which would be pretty huge. For now, that villager on the left still lives, but he just needs to keep it safe whilst continuing to add production facilities.
Oh, and now he's switching to hand cannoneers instead of skirmishers.
Where do we see them coming in? Oh yeah, there's all those archery ranges on the left. See, this is something that John the Late did in the game against me when I was there. He just did a really great job of like filling up his whole side of the land so he can see stuff coming from everywhere, and he's got production facilities everywhere. I mean, it is more concentrated on the left hand side because that's where Peganator is, but it's kind of a similar approach. I was going to say I was waiting for a siege workshop from Peganator on that side.
And John the Late is pop block right now, but he doesn't have like any gold left.
Yeah. He's at... Hang on, you see the 4 tiles in the back of his base? He doesn't see it. That's insane.
He doesn't? Oh my god.
I mean, lumberjacks will find that in about 10 minutes, but that's incredible. He must have been thought to himself, where is my 3rd gold? Or my 2nd gold, even.
So, do you want to take some bet? Which will see the gold first? Peganator can see the gold on his back of his base now.
You know, I guess this has been going on for a couple of minutes, but we've just been so concentrated on what's going on the left. Look at the light cav raiding from John the Late everywhere. I mean, there's been attacks.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
There have been attack bell notifications going on all the time, but so I didn't really kind of notice it. But that's really nice. He's idling 28 villagers for now, and Peganator has also lost 20 villagers. Monastery and town centre on the right, so I don't think it was a stable sneak. It was just transported ones, I think. Unless, oh no, the stables are by the shoreline over here. So he just went across. I mean, the light cabs will die, but they are picking up huge number of villager kills and idling so much economy.
Yeah, and what's nice is that those light cabs made the Peganator focus less on the left side of the map, and right now he has almost no army left on that side. And so if John the Late send like 4 or 5 more camels and skirmishers, he will be able to tap those production facilities.
Yeah, and that like heavy camel plus hand cannoneer combo is just so nice against Franks.
Yeah, and we're actually problem with with John the Late, sorry, is that he still doesn't have any guard right now.
Yeah,
he's going to get the one on the left side of the map, and maybe later the one in the back of his base.
Peganator's actually found that one in the bottom corner, but he continues to have problems with the light cav. I think he's cleaned quite a lot of them up now, but he has gone down to pretty much no gold himself. Very little food because his farms have been idle for the whole time, and he could lose every single villager in that bottom part of the map if he doesn't pay attention. He needs to send one of those paladins over there, but at least he's found the snuck town centre and monastery and the villagers. So he's going to shut down this nonsense soon. He's even built a castle in front of all the stables. So
yeah. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Peganator calls a GG very soon, because he can't get a hold on the other side of the map. He just have a little bit of gold left, and he's in a serious disadvantage. Might be wanting to continue that game a little bit longer, but once those production facilities are destroyed, and that John the Late is taking all his army on the other side, that's going to be the end.
Yeah, and John the Late even throwing up outposts behind all those production facilities to see if there's anything else over there. But I don't, I think your assessment of the game is correct. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Peganator to win this game, because crossing over to the other side of the map will just be so difficult. But I think he'll continue to try for now.
Yeah. See, the only thing I can think of about Peganator is to go for a few bombard cannons and shitloads of halberdiers to defend. But still, even with that, that's going to be very tough to defend.
Yeah, and it will also make for a very long game, because the amount of time it will take to push with that.
Yeah, but that's going to happen eventually if they are going in a trash war.
Yeah, because the gold's starting to run dry for both players.
But I mean, for now, John the Late still has a little gold on his left, and once he will found the one in the back of his base, he will be able to make a lot more of gold intensive unit. He might even be able to take those 2 little gold mines in the front of Peganator base.
Peganator still has 964 stone, which more or less gets him 2 castles. I can't remember if it... yeah, I think that would get him 2 castles with the Franks castle price.
Yeah, so, that's 488, I think, 488. Yeah. So that's actually exactly the number of stones he needs.
Well, no, it's like 12 short, 12 short, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I need to go back to school.
No, I was thinking it was 480 something, but I didn't really know it was 488. So yeah. But I'm surprised he wasn't putting up at least one just somewhere, maybe in the middle of this farmland, just to try
he's putting one on the left, next to his other castle. Maybe trying to secure a bit of the shoreline.
But it doesn't secure that much shoreline for redocking purposes. But at the same time, you don't want to go close to the shoreline, because, as we've seen, it can get trebbed from the other side. It's hard to see what utility that castle actually serves.
Right now, John the Late is preparing to go for a very strong push.
Yeah.
Making siege rams and going to transport them. Just before this push, I love that John the Late found 2 of the ships of Peganator and just hide them on the far right of the map.
They've been there for the entire game. Like continually be kind of alerting me every time I look over there and I think, oh, is he sneak? Like, is there a sneak? Is there a sneak? And no, it's just those sheep still.
Yeah. I don't know what Peganator could do. He has not enough villager right now. Totally not enough.
Cannon
65
galleons.
in the late Imperial fight.
Yeah.
Except if you're Byzantine, it will not do the trick.
Cannon galleons for John the Late as well, taking down that castle, which we said was perilously close to the shore.
You mean Cannon Navy?
Yeah.
Bombard Navy?
Bombard Navy, yeah.
Bombard Navy.
Bombard boats.
Yeah, it's like the turtle ships of Corinth. They could have called it the dragon boat. That would be way more scary.
Well, that's already the Viking longboats, isn't that got like a dragon figure?
Yeah,
Is
but
it a
that's still a
figurehead?
Drakkar. Or Drakkar? I don't know. How do you say it in English?
I don't know what you're trying to say, I'm afraid.
Oh no, maybe it's a French word, sorry. I still got my AoC in French, so sometimes I'm not really sure how to call units and stuff.
Well, it seems like, besides the fact that John the Late is just cannoning down this castle on the left-hand side of the map, there's nothing much really happening now, apart from John the Late preparing to make his game-ending push, perhaps.
I love how Peganator decided to defend his castle with one thread to snipe those cannon galleon, bombard navy, and elite cannon galleon coming. But look at the resources of both players actually.
A lot of resources, yeah.
But yeah, that's what happens when they decide to not engage in any fight.
It's almost like a truce has been called for a little while.
Yeah.
But John the Late has been capped for like 10 minutes now and is just not really doing anything.
Yeah, he's just getting all the upgrades. He's getting a pikeman upgrade now, and I don't know if that's going to be useful.
He's going to kill off 3 bombard cannons for Peganator really easily now, with those hussars on the left-hand side, and that's really nice because bombard cannons are so expensive, and to lose 3 of them for nothing at this stage of the game is just absolutely disheartening.
Peganator still has 1,000 gold in the back and another 1,000 in a bit more than 1,000 in back of his base. But he's going, he's going
yeah, GG.
He's noticing there is nothing he can do.
What did he say?
That
I start to understand why Mirror is so popular, says John the Late.
I like Unmirror matchup because they make you think outside of the box.
Yeah. Like Peganator.
In mirror matchup, you know what you can make and what could work against the same Civ as you are. But in Civ that you are not used to play with that Civ, you can think outside the box. Well, that's nice. We're going for some final game now.
Yeah. Yeah,
the game which will decide who is the new best of all AoC player right now.
The new best or newbest?
Well, up to you.
Yeah.
Up to you to decide.
Yeah, I didn't mean a stalemate in the sense that they were deadlocked, Richard. I just meant like they were just sitting on either side of their rivers, just not really doing much until John was basically choosing his moment to end it. The interesting stat for me from the achievements, like the one that most stands out, is the fact that Peganator only had 1,700 relic gold, 600 more than John the Late when he had 4 relics on his side. Like, I really think he could have taken advantage of that a lot more. But you can see that the kill to death ratio for John the Late was just so much better because he was just countering Peganator's units all the time. Saracens v Franks is just such an advantage.
Yeah, especially on a map like this where the front player can't raid that much.
Yeah, like your gold. The problem with that matchup is that the gold units counter each other. Like the Saracens' gold units counter the Frank gold units, and then obviously as we were talking about at the start, the trash is better as well. So Peganator really had to just go absolutely ham on him early in the game to win that.
Yeah, for me until beginning mid castle they are quite even, but after that the Saracen takes a very